Remember that game many of us used to play? The one where one person was it, and the rest of us would run around at lightning speed trying to keep out of the it's reach and make it to that old tree stump that we had considered was a safe spot. Ah, the relief we'd feel reaching that tree stump. We called that spot home safe. Home safe. Those two words carry some weight for me. Getting called down to the principal's office to find out that your house has been destroyed by fire is a real punch in the gut for a young teen. The fact that you'll never be able to walk into your home again is unfathomable and became my reality. But I struggled with feelings of safety long before the flames took our house. Those flames that ripped up through the belly of our home are not unlike the feeling I have in mine when anxiety takes hold. I'm in grade 6. School's finished for the day, and I'm actually riding the school bus. I'm afraid of riding the bus because it makes me feel nauseous, and I'm terrified of being sick. And as we pull up towards my house, I can see that I'm the first one home. My heart starts pounding. I put my backpack over one shoulder, and the adrenaline kicks in as our bus driver, Mrs. Chatterson, with her short-permed gray hair and rosy cheeks, says, "Goodbye, Michelle," and opens the door. Like a gun has fired at the beginning of a race, I am flying off the bus and toward the house, checking behind me the whole way there. If a bad guy jumps out from around that tree or around that corner, he won't surprise me. I have no idea what I might do if he does, but I won't be surprised. I've reached the house now, frantically trying to open that rickety storm door. The solid door breaks its seal and I slip around it and slam. I'm in, braced in anticipation for the storm door slamming sharply afterward. And then the quiet sets in. This is the part where I should feel that home-safe relief, but that's not how my mind works. There could be danger lurking anywhere. I have to get to the kitchen, but there are windows, and I can't be seen by anyone outside. I take a deep breath and crawl under the garage door window. Cringing, I peek inside the bathroom. No one there. A quick dash up the stairs, and I'm in the kitchen now, moving slowly with my back against the wall, eyes darting from stairwell to living room and back. A quick crawl under one more window, and I've made it. I've carefully chosen this spot for its proximity to 2 exits in either direction, in case someone bad is inside the house. In this corner I've backed myself into like a scared animal, I can see everything, and no one can see me. I'll remain here on guard until someone gets home. But I didn't just feel afraid when I was alone. Even when sleeping between my parents, my protectors, I was still bracing for some kind of violent impact. I'd see tall, standing silhouettes in the dark. They were not to be trusted. There was simply no comforting me, and I had been this way for as long as anyone can remember. Anxiety being the only explanation. But I'm an adult now and more capable of looking at the evidence to support the case that I am safe and there is no immediate threat of danger to myself or anyone around me. But that general sense of danger still exists at times. It shows up when I lock my bedroom door at night. Even though the apartment door is locked, I've checked it. And even though I live alone. Or when I wake up from a bump in the night, and my heart is racing as I slowly reach for my phone, movement undetectable in the darkness so that I can shine its light and either catch a bad guy off guard or prove to myself that I am, in fact, alone in my room, even though both doors are locked. It's my first morning after moving in with myself, and my landlady has told me that I have to turn the fan on when using the stovetop because the smoke detector is sensitive. Easy enough, but after a day of moving and far too early a morning, I'm a little slow to turn that fan on, which, when I finally do, sounds like a jet engine in the acoustics of my basement apartment. And while I'm frying some eggs with my back to the rest of the apartment, I hear a booming voice talking at me. I jump 10 feet in the air. Well, it's a basement, so more like 8 feet tops, but this is my irrational fear coming true. I live alone, and there is someone in my apartment. What the landlady forgot to mention was that the smoke detector gave a verbal warning before sounding. Such a fancy smoke detector. Far too fancy for a Mennonite girl like me. My parents were born and raised on a Mennonite colony in Mexico, immigrating here to Canada in their teens. They both have very large families, and I can attest to the truth behind that concept of it takes a village, because I had one growing up, and it did. We always lived down the street and around the corner from our Aunt Helen's family, their kids feeling more like siblings to me than cousins. On the mornings my parents worked in the fields during harvest, I'd get wrapped up in a blanket, pretending to sleep, and carried over through the cool, fresh morning air to my Aunt Helen's couch, where I'd sleep until the sun came up. Mennonites tend to navigate their lives together as a community. And when our house was destroyed by fire, the village stepped up. The fire was the beginning of my family's unraveling, and also where our village really shone. After the fire, my family moved from relatives' homes to apartments and to hotels, eventually back into our replacement house, built where our old house once stood. It felt cold and square and would house many painful memories. We just couldn't get back to that sense of home there. And so I'd then make a most difficult decision to move away from my parents, who at that time were struggling and unable to fulfill that role for me, and in with my Aunt Helen's family. It was just around the corner, but felt like a world away from what used to be. At that time, feeling like a burden and being fully aware that this was not my home wouldn't immediately serve me, but looking back, I can clearly see how important that time at my aunt's was for my overall well-being. I got to live with my cousins. There was Jessica, letting me share a single futon bed, reading chapters of animal liberation aloud to me every night, which, much to her delight, led to my 9 years of vegetarianism. There was Alexander, sharing his childhood, his mother, painfully good belly laughs, and TV time with me when Dawson's Creek felt like the only thing I had to look forward to each week. Yeah. And And there was Vicky, celebrating my accomplishments and reminding me there was more I could strive for beyond surviving. And of course, my big brother, Sean, who would take me across Canada on a most special train adventure, showing me there was a bigger world than the one that had consumed me and that I was capable of exploring it. My village extends far beyond those few I've just mentioned, and every single person was integral to my standing on my own 2 feet today, and I'm forever grateful. Later, as an adult, leaving one house and life that was familiar and struggling to feel settled in the new unfamiliar, my village built me some wraparound benches for my new balcony, with cushions and pillows of all sizes and warm red and orange hues. I called it my treehouse oasis because around it were low-hanging protective branches and leaves that embraced it, that embraced me. It felt comforting and safe. And I began to heal in this treehouse until one morning I woke up to the jarring sound of chainsaws outside my bedroom window, cutting down my tree.